everyone, I've been asked to make a face mask and show you how to do that, which is something I learned through being in the Tuesday group Creative Threads led by Maggie Tucker and Heather Hargraves. So I'd like to firstly thank Maggie for showing us how to make these. I'm going to make a face mask using this material. The first thing you need to do is to cut it out. Now I've made some little templates on some plastic mat here. On the church website or on the Coro Connect there will be a template available for you to download and print off at home. So I've just cut them out onto some plastic mat. You can cut it out onto cardboard or just cut it out as paper, that's fine. The advantage of having it on this see-through is that you can see your pattern underneath. So I want to make sure that my pattern is facing up. So if I put it on there, it's facing up. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to trace around my template on the reverse side of my pattern, making sure that my pattern is face up. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And I do one on the reverse side, the opposite side as well. So the back of my pattern now looks like this, okay? And you can see through that I've actually got it so that the hearts are facing the right way. On the pattern, this curved bit here, the really pointy bit, that's for your nose. I forgot to say that while I'm doing the face masks, I do use hand sanitizer before I make the next face mask, just to make sure that I'm all free of germs. So while I've got the texture out in the newspaper, I'm going to do my templates for the cheeks and the mouth, which become the inside of the face mask. So I'm going to use this brown material. And because it doesn't have a pattern, it doesn't really matter which way around it is. You need to cut out 4 of these because you're going to be making 2 doubles, which you'll understand in a minute. This gives extra protection in the center of the face mask. So when you're breathing through, you're actually breathing through 3 layers of material. Okay, so I'm cutting it with my cutting tool here. Cut down the center and then very carefully cut around it. When I'm using my cutting tool, I try and make sure I'm going on the inside of the line to make sure the face mask doesn't get too big. If you have scissors, they work just as well as a cutting tool. There's my other side, so this will form the front of the face mask. So now I'm going to cut out the material to make the inside of the face mask. Again, I'm using my cutting tool. I use this as a ruler. So this gets sewn together and this becomes the double thickness on the inside. So we need 2 of those. So that's the first pair. Now I'll do the second pair. And there's my second pair. So I have 2 of these sets of 2. And now I'm going to cut the final bit, which is the cheek part of the inside of the face mask. You could just fold the material over and cut once. I tried that, but I felt that the other side didn't cut properly. The second piece didn't cut properly, so I like to cut them individually like this, but you can do it that way if you want. Okay, now I've got my 2 cheek pieces. Next, it's time to do the iron. Next thing you need to do is iron the pieces. I like to give them a quick iron all over first, just to make sure they're nice and flat. That's all we need to do for the front pieces of the face mask. I'm going to iron these inner pieces. Okay, so once you've ironed them, put 2 of the center pieces together. Make sure that they fit exactly together. And then you've got your other pair there. You want to make sure that the nose part is both pointing into the middle. So you can see there's a bit of an arc here in the middle. This is the slightly straighter side on that edge side there. Then you fold it over, both pieces are over just enough like that. So probably about 1 centimetre or a bit less. And then iron that edge there. And same with this one. Gotta make sure they're exact. And then iron the edge there. With the cheek pieces, they're slightly different, so they're not exactly identical, symmetrical. This one here is slightly curved. You want to make sure that's facing the middle. And this time you iron the long edge, not the short edge, you iron the long edge and give it a little, again, 1 centimetre or slightly less edge there like that. And you don't have to do any ironing on the front face ones. So you've got those 4 bits there, and then you're going to go and sew. Okay, so once you've got your 2 pieces together that you have folded over and ironed together, you're actually going to separate them, and I want you to cut off one part of the folded piece there. So I'm going to use my cutting tool again and my ruler and just cut down that. Then it's going to fit really nicely into there, and you just fold that over there like a little package, little envelope. So I've done that to one set, I'm going to do that to the next set. Separate them. Cut off one edge, put it together and fold it down. Okay, now I'm going to start sewing them together. So I put my piece together there, put it onto there, and then finally the pink ones. Make sure you're sewing them with the pattern side facing in, so you're sewing it on the wrong side. This time you've got to sort of turn it around as you're sewing. What you do is you cut your first 2 mouth pieces off. Then you're actually going to sew these together. You want to make sure that both sides on the outer is where you've got that sewing, that stitching line. And then we can keep using it in the one lot of thread. Now finally, when I get to this point, that's where I'm going to finish off. And I can separate all these. Now I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4 bits ready to pin together and sew it all together to finish off. Now comes the tricky part. This is where we have to pin it all together. So what you want to do is open this out like this. You're going to go back over to your iron and iron that seam flat down there like that. So I'm going to iron that pointing to the right, and then I'm going to turn that one inside out, and I'm going to iron that one pointing to the left. Okay, so I'm ironing my front piece, my pattern piece, with the seam going down to the right. It's a little tricky, but you've got to make sure that you're ironing it flat. Don't know if you can really see, but it is sort of ironed to the right there. And now with the center part on the plain side, I'm going to iron it the other way around. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to pin it all together. So using your mouthpiece, you gently slide the two pieces together here so that the seams kind of hit. So you've got one seam going one way and one seam going the other way. And then you're going to pin it together like this. There you've got your seam here, so this is all the inside of it here. Don't make the mistake and pin it the wrong way round, which I've done a couple of times and had to go and unpick it all. It's a little annoying. So you should have it looking like this. Now what you want to do is pin on your two cheek pieces. Now like I said before, they aren't exactly symmetrical, so you do need to just match them and see that it fits properly. Because you'll see if you do it on the wrong way, it doesn't quite line up properly. So you can tell that that's on the wrong side. So that needs to come over here. And it will line up correctly like that. Okay, now it's all pinned, ready to sew. Okay, now we're ready to trim the edges. So we're going to cut the corners there. Cut off these little edge bits here. And using a chopstick is going to help us put our corners around. So we're going to turn it around, poke out the corners, just like that. I'm just going to go and iron it one more time to iron the seams in place there, just to get it all into its proper shape. You can see it's definitely taking shape as a face mask. Two last things to do is to sew a bit along here for the nose, put a piece of pipe cleaner in there so that you can shape the nose, and then to sew on our ear loops. So from here we're going to start just past there, probably 1.5 centimeters in from the edge. This gets a little tricky sewing over the bulge for the nose because it can pucker a fair bit, which I still haven't really worked out how to do very well, but we'll see. Now what I do is I use a chopstick, a bit of sticky tape. Sticky tape the end of the pipe cleaner to there, then poke it through. And now the pipe cleaner is in there, which allows for nose shaping. I've got some hair bands, just basic brand new hair bands. I'm going to put one on the end here. Sew that close there. And do the same again on the other side. Now cut off my stray bits of thread, trim it all up carefully. And there you have it, it's all done. So you've got your nose piece here, the bulge there, the pipe cleaner's in there which will allow you to shape it to your nose, and then the ear loops are there. If it gets too tight, of course, with the ear loops, you can always just thread some elastic and tie it through there, or just some string instead of using the elastic loops. And if I can make this, and I've only been using a sewing machine since May, before that I hadn't used a sewing machine since I was in year 10, if I can make one of these, you guys can. It's that easy. Thanks for watching. Bye.